Hey everyone, Jagame here, and here with a video on how to run a full Fusion Steam for Super Battle Road for physical. I'll do another one of these videos in case if you're one of those people who want to run a full Fusion Lead, with the LR Gogeta as lead. Let's have him double leads and try to run a full Fusion Steam. So in that case, here's what it would look like basically. If you're trying to put a full physical team, but just with fusions, here's what it looked like from the top. We got Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, and you could run him in one rotation with the LR, but the problem with him is that I believe he lowers his defense by like 30% or something, so he might be not good of a tank in that regard. Okay, so. And we have the thing with him is that he shares about like just 2 links, but these are damage boost links. He doesn't provide him the LR key, but does provide 2 damage links, so it's not that bad there. It would be a total of like 25% damage. However, this one, the physical Gotenks, the physical Super Saiyan 1 Gotenks, provides the LR 3 key and 25% attack boost, which should be good in that. So you'll want to keep him in one rotation, and he probably most likely tanks better than the Fizz Gotenks because he doesn't lower his defense. He'll tank better. And as for the important units of this Fusion team, which I'd say he's optimal, especially if you're running the double Fusions lead. You want to keep the Fusions leads in like in each rotation, And I have the Weiris here because he's the orb changer. Now we'll change both ink and tech orbs to physical, which will be very useful for the LR, which is why you want to run him. And if you're worried about him taking too much damage, don't worry. He increases his defense by 50%, and also attack, but he's not really a hard hitter. But increases his defense by 15%, and with the double leads, it'd be a total of like, he's already getting a defense of like 260 defense, and if you add by his like just his passive, he'll get a total of like I believe 310 defense percent of defense raised. So that's good there. So he should be able to tank by that logic, but he won't be hit as hard, So in that case, we got the kind of the weakest units in this team that definitely want off rotation, but I wouldn't suggest running a complete fusions team with this, because of how weak these guys are in it. But we got the Fizz, the Gotenks, the fat Gotenks, and he's pretty much he's mostly useless in this team. He only just helpful with links, really. That's just it. His passive is like whenever each physical orb he gains, he gets attack plus 25. Not 25, just 12%. Each physical piece where he gets, but you're not gonna use him as a hard hitter at all. And we got this SR1, which for when you max him out, I believe his defense is just a total of 300, an 88 defense, which is super low, especially even when he's like fully maxed out as an SSR. That's extremely low. Like even his other stats are higher, but he does have that passive of like reduced damage received, a high chance to reduce the damage by 50%. But for Super Battle Road, he's just not that useful in here. He's just not, and even the buffs he gets isn't gonna help him really that much, So these two are gonna take severe amount of damage. Well, maybe severe. I don't know. I mean, you could say that's useful for getting below 50% by the time you get to 6 turns, but Super Battle Road, you're not sure if you're gonna be able to it's either with Super Battle Road, it's kind of difficult. It's kind of it's almost like you either beat it in 6, you either beat the boss stage for in 6 turns, or if you don't, you die or something. I don't know. It's not easy to maintain 50% amount of health, especially if you had these two guys in the team. So here's what a more better solution is: have other kind of non-fusion dance characters. And they also get the they get the 90% buff, so it isn't bad. So it isn't so it isn't that big of a deal, for at least for these other units that I'm gonna show. So you got the Super Vigio, the TUR physical card, and he's a great tank. Well, yeah, for normal attacks, I think he reduces them normal attacks by 50%. I don't know, but he does have that counter mechanic. And also, you'll want to put him in the first rotation, and the reason you'll want to have him in the first rotation with the LR, because he gives a boost a 30%. When he does a super attack, he gives all allies a 30% buff. Let's see, 30% buff to all allies to attack. So he's viable in that part. May not take as well as the LR, but he's he'll definitely, those counters definitely will be useful. Also, the damage buffs obviously make the LR hit a lot harder. And I got the he's not, it's, you could still beat this team without him, but he's just an optional unit, because the reason why is because he's an LR, so he has high stats, so even though he's not getting the full percent, he's not getting the full percent as a 120 lead, but because he has such high stats, it'll give a big boost to your health, so that's mainly why he's there. He has a good hard hitter. He does crit in this passive, but he's an option unit. You could still you don't need him, but he's a good option. Now this one I would consider a viable option, optimal option, And the reason why this physical Piccolo here is because he'll help your units tank a lot, and the reason why I say that is because his passive gives a defense buff of 70% to all allies. That's why he's such a good unit. He's a viable option, even though you're gonna most likely use him in the 3rd rotation. He is a very good unit for a Super Battle Road. You always want this guy in his Dokkan Awakened state in this team, because of the defense boost. But anyway, he does give the tackling to the LR, but he doesn't really give key links. That's why he's more of a and he doesn't really link with anyone else in this team, so that's why he's an off rotator. But he's very optimal on his team. So they're a decent option, but he won't tank as well because to normal attacks, it's a 30%. He reduces normal attacks by 30%. And if he takes the super attack, you might end up dying. I don't know how good he is with a double lead. Actually, from what I remember, he was actually decent in a double Gogeta lead, but he's just there to crit. He's just there to be counters, and he's a okay option for this team. You'll definitely want to run the Piccolo if you're gonna add this guy in your team. But basically, here is the more optimal units. You'll want these 6 units for this team. In case you don't have these guys, some of these guys, I guess you could run support leads, but not support leads. I mean, you could run supporters in your team, but they would take a lot of damage. Since they're not getting enough percentage leader skill buff. But yeah, this is basically how you would beat Super Battle Road if you have like all these cards, all these very useful cards for the team. This is definitely, I consider, a viable team. No, I'm just repeating myself, and I can sound like some cringy professional, but whatever. I don't know. If this video was helpful, comment down below or share the video. And yeah, this is it for this video. Kind of the end of the day. I don't know. Bye.